Fast forward to 1832. Andrew Jackson, the people's president, makes a monumental decision that leaves a black mark on his tenure. Oh, and we have a surprising twist about the Supreme Court and Jackson. Don't miss it. Next up, we take a leap to the 20th century to the presidency of Franklin D. Roosevelt and the infamous Executive Order 9066. It's World War II, and the fear of spies is high. But does that justify the internment of over 100,000 Japanese Americans? You think you know this story, but there's a secret corner of this saga you've never heard before. Just when you thought you've seen it all, we'll travel to the frosty tension of the Cold War under Dwight D. Eisenhower. Ever heard of the U-2 incident? This spy saga shook the world and cooled relations at a pivotal moment. There's a twist to this tale that you'd never see coming. Finally, fasten your seatbelts as we hurtle forward to the dawn of the 21st century, landing in the era of George W. Bush. Amidst the smoky chaos of 9/11, we find ourselves in the quagmire of Iraq. Weapons of mass destruction or a massive deception? Prepare to delve into the labyrinth of geopolitical blunders. In the next hour, we'll dissect these presidencies, revealing the profound errors, the ripple effects, and the attempts to right the wrongs. Join us as we navigate through the murky waters of the past to shine a light on every president's biggest mistake. Will the president's follies continue to guide future leaders? Are we doomed to repeat our mistakes, or is redemption possible? Stay with us on this journey and find out. Our journey begins with the very first president of the United States, George Washington. Revered as the father of the nation, Washington's presidency was marked by extraordinary leadership. However, his biggest mistake lay in the signing of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793. In an attempt to appease southern states, Washington unknowingly perpetuated the institution of slavery and inadvertently sowed the seeds of division that would plague the nation for decades to come. Presidents, like any other individuals in positions of power, can make mistakes. It is important to note that the perception of a mistake can vary depending on one's political beliefs and perspectives. Additionally, the following list is not exhaustive and focuses on some notable mistakes made by past presidents. Here are a few examples. Richard Nixon, 1969 to 1974. Nixon's involvement in the Watergate scandal, which led to his resignation, is considered one of the most significant mistakes in U.S. presidential history. The scandal involved illegal activities, such as the break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters, and subsequent attempts to cover up the involvement of the Nixon administration. Jimmy Carter, 1977 to 1981. Carter's handling of the Iran hostage crisis, which lasted for 444 days, is considered a significant mistake. His inability to secure the release of American hostages in Iran damaged his administration's credibility and contributed to his loss in the 1980 presidential election. Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1933 to 1945. One of the notable mistakes of FDR's presidency was his signing of Executive Order 9066, which authorized the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. The forced relocation and imprisonment of innocent American citizens based solely on their Japanese ancestry is widely regarded as a violation of civil liberties and a stain on American history. Bill Clinton, 1993 to 2001. Clinton's affair with Monica Lewinsky, a White House intern, and his subsequent false statements under oath during the investigation led to his impeachment by the House of Representatives. Though he was not removed from office, it tarnished his presidency and had significant political repercussions. Fast forward to the era of Thomas Jefferson, the visionary president who ushered in the era of westward expansion. But even great leaders have their flaws. Jefferson's biggest mistake, contrary to his belief in limited government, was the infamous Embargo Act of 1807. This ill-fated decision severely hurt American merchants and plunged the nation into an economic crisis. Was it the case of overreach or miscalculation of epic proportions? The answer lies in the chapters of history. As we leap forward to the mid-19th century, we encounter the enigmatic Abraham Lincoln. Revered for his role in abolishing slavery, Lincoln's presidency was defined by a civil war that almost tore the nation apart. Yet, lurking beneath his grandeur was a misstep that could have jeopardized his legacy. Stay tuned to discover Lincoln's greatest blunder, one that could have altered the course of history forever. Moving into the 20th century, we find ourselves immersed in the tumultuous era. Enter Lyndon B. Johnson, the president who aimed to build a great society through his progressive policies. However, one grave error overshadowed his achievements: the disastrous escalation of the Vietnam War. What led Johnson to commit such a costly blunder? The answer lies within the labyrinthine corridors of power. It's important to recognize that these examples represent specific incidents or decisions during each president's tenure and should not be taken as a comprehensive assessment of their entire presidency or character. Finally, we arrive at the present, where the mistakes of the past continue to reverberate. Donald J. Trump's presidency was marked by a string of controversies, but none as defining as his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's the end of this episode. If you found it beneficial, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content.